Hello, Sagittarius rising. It's Mandy Ray of Ecstatic Astrology here for your Venus retrograde and Leo forecast. Today is Wednesday, July 26th, when I'm recording this. Venus turned retrograde July 22nd. It's stationed retrograde at 28 degrees of Leo. It will go all the way back to 12 degrees of Leo and then return again. And that is the Venus retrograde cycle. So the shadow actually is June 18th through October 7th. And the shadow of Venus retrograde is whenever it is moving forward and it reaches the degree that it's going to return to, that's the beginning of the pre-retrograde shadow. That was June 18th through July 22nd. July 22nd started the retrograde, and then it'll be out of shadow October 7th when it passes that 28th degree again. So this is in Leo, which is about our creativity, our heart, our purpose, love, inner child, romance. That's Leo, how we shine. Venus is love and money, its values, its relationship. Venus is how we balance things. Venus is what we're aesthetically drawn to, what is comfortable to us. And if you think about it, a Venus retrograde in Leo could almost be looked at as rebranding. And it's funny because it turned retrograde and Twitter rebranded or tried to anyway, right? So that I think that assessment is pretty spot on. But then we also have the factor of everything in Taurus right now that Venus will square. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the infographic that I made. Is this the correct one? Yes, Sagittarius rising. Here we are. All right. So this is, I'll stop my video for a second so you can see the whole thing. I'll just go an overview of what's going on here. Sagittarius rising. Whoop. That should have been a circle. I'm going to draw, by the way, get out your calendars. I'm going to be talking about a lot of dates. Sagittarius rising, that's you. The shadow, June 18th through October 7th. The actual retrograde is July 22nd through September 3rd. Now, this is happening in your ninth house. The ninth house is higher education, learning, travel, beliefs, adventure, truth, philosophy. It's kind of abstract, right? So this is a reevaluation of what you want out of this area, what you desire, what you're drawn to, what is creative in this area, what you value in this area. And all of the themes of this area could come up, or one or two of the themes. It just depends on you and your life. Now, what Taurus and Jupiter, I'm sorry, Uranus and Jupiter are occupying is Taurus. That is your sixth house of work, service, health, habits, healing, pets, routine. Okay, Jupiter is expansion. Jupiter is philosophy as well. So you are maybe busy, maybe having to organize your life, maybe having to put in a lot of work somewhere. Uranus is changing values around what you do for work, maybe what you do every day. And that's what's going on there in Taurus in your sixth house. Jupiter is a benefic, Venus is a benefic. They're not too much in agreement right now, though. So Venus retrograde is drawing your attention to adventure, to philosophy, to meaning. And that's what you're trying to figure out. That's going to perhaps conflict or change depending on these squares to Uranus and Jupiter, okay? So I have these squares written down. Let's clear all that out. We'll clear this out too. The first square was to Jupiter, and that was June 11th. That's actually even before the shadow. It was in the early degrees. Venus square Jupiter it can be looked at as good. Square is tension, okay? So there's tension between the ninth house and the sixth house. The ninth house, travel. Sixth house, you're kind of your obligations every day, right? And how do those meet in the middle? Well, you have Jupiter expanding the sixth, Venus bringing benefit and creativity and love to the ninth. And they have to come to an agreement somehow, but it's just a lot of everything with Venus square Jupiter. It's a lot of both. So this could also be a time when we spend too much money or maybe go too much, especially in the sixth and ninth houses, maybe busy, maybe needing to kind of chill out for a minute, right? Maybe needing to take a break and go on a trip. Maybe that's the Venus retrograde. Maybe you've been working too hard. Okay. There's lots of different possibilities. Then we had a square to Uranus July 2nd. Now that could have changed the game somehow. Something comes in and you go, oh, this is different. Okay, I got to figure this out. Or my values have changed. I don't want to go to the Gulf Coast anymore. It's expensive. Things like that. Or, maybe what I need to do is go back to school. Anything could have come out of this area. And then Venus turns retrograde. So that means it's going to square both of these planets 2 more times. Retrograde squares August 9th and August 22nd, direct squares September 29th and September 17th. Okay. So that's going to happen several times. Those 2 houses, these 2 themes are having to find a way to both coexist, basically. Okay. So, other considerations. You got the North Node in Aries. That's your 5th house of good fortune, inner child play. It is creativity, and it's a lot like Leo. I mean, it's not exactly the same thing as Leo, but the 5th house is associated with, good things, I would say. So the North Node is developing that area. It is supported by Venus, even turning retrograde. So Venus is drawing attention. It's in a trine to the North Node right now. 9th house of adventure, 5th house of fun. Looks like that's what you're wanting in your life, right? Then we've got the South Node, and that is in Libra. The South Node is what we're separating from. It's what we're maybe redoing or putting in the compost heap, right? That is the 11th house is networking and goals. It's also large groups of people, your friend groups. So you may be saying, I need to let go of a goal, or I need to rework my goals. That's in a supportive sextile opportunity to Venus retrograde in the 9th house of truth, philosophy, beliefs, meaning, travel, higher education, learning. Teaching also falls in the 9th as well. So there seems to be something that you are almost mulling over. Maybe that goal is not the thing. Maybe this is the goal in my creative area. I'm coming up with new things. Okay. So here's the thing. There's also Saturn in your 4th house of home and family. Saturn is structure, it's foundation. Sometimes it's work. And sometimes it's just, it feels like obstacles. Now, that could be with literal property you own, where you live literally, or in your family. There is some sort of responsibility or some sort of obstacle, but it's inviting mastery out of this area. Saturn will be there for 3 years. Now, here's where I get to draw my little stamps, because I could not put Mars, Mercury, and the sun anywhere because it moves too fast. So I have to draw it in. So right now the sun's in Leo. We got Mercury, which is a question mark in Leo. Okay. And then we've got Mars in Virgo right now. Mars is orange X. There's Mars. So Mars is in your 10th house of career and public reputation and achievement and authority. And Mars on July 20th opposed Saturn. So it may feel like, oh, I could be doing really well in my career if it weren't for these obligations at home. Or it could be just the tension between home and family, or the tension to start something new, right? Especially with regards to career. And also the 4th house is emotional security. So the thing about Mars being here in the 10th and my 10th house of career and public reputation, achievement, and authority is it's pushing there. It's wanting, and sometimes that can result in stress. Mercury retrograde will be here. The sun will eventually be here, and they will all oppose Saturn and get that obstacle. So I don't know what July 20th was like for you, but August 1st and September and August 27th are also peak dates when Mercury opposes Saturn and the sun opposes Saturn. So keep that in mind. But now I'm going to go through dates. Turn my video back on. We're going to go through a bunch of dates here, okay? So first, I'm just going to leave the graphic up and I'm going to draw all over it. Okay? All right, good. Good. I'm glad we came to an agreement. Done a lot of these videos, y'all. I'm sorry, I'm a little loopy. All right, so today is July 26th. Tomorrow, Mercury and Venus come together. So the 27th, which is Thursday. This is a really nice time. I think it's a time in which we become familiar with what exactly the Venus retrograde is about in our minds. Our minds are on it. So pay attention tomorrow to what comes up. I think that that will be a not a harbinger, because harbinger can kind of sound negative, but um, a a guidepost tomorrow where your mind kind of gets a hold of what is this Venus retrograde about. Okay. July 28th, Mercury moves into Virgo. So this is really the last day. Tomorrow is really the last day of Mercury in Leo. And then we've got Mercury, remember, question mark, in Virgo. So yeah, it's entering the same area as Mars, and Mercury is almost already, when it moves into Virgo, opposite Saturn, but it still has a couple days before it perfects. So why does, we should just enjoy July 29th, 30th, and 31st before Mercury makes that opposition. 29th, July 29th, we've got a grand fire trine through 31st when we have a grand earth trine. Okay. So first, the moon, by the way, is a heart. First, the moon is in your first house of self. Okay. And this highlights the fire signs in your chart because the fire signs are active. You have the North Node in Aries in your fifth house of good fortune and inner child and play and romance and joy. Venus retrograde in your ninth house, which is Leo, beliefs, travel, adventure, higher education, expansion of the mind, philosophy. And then you've got Sagittarius. So anytime the moon visits here, it's going to trine this stuff, okay, in the first house of self. So this is actually a really nice, the 29th, a nice grand fire trine for you. It's Venus, the North Node, and the moon. And fire tends to be active and you get something moving. Maybe it feels good. Okay. And then the moon moves into Capricorn on the 30th. And what we've got is a grand earth trine. And now this time, this is with Mars and Jupiter, and Mars and the moon to Jupiter. So grand earth trine is in your second house of finances, your sixth house of daily life, routine, and work, and your 10th house of career. So I'm hoping July 29th through 31st, something moves in a good direction because it is a fortunate sort of grand trine. Grand trines are very supportive. Okay. All right. Then we've got August 1st, which is a letdown. After these nice 3 days, we kind of have a little bit of a letdown. August 1st, full moon in Aquarius. I'm going to say Aqua, it's easier. And Mercury opposite Mars. All right, that's August 1st. August 1st, full moon in Aquarius, Mercury opposite Mars. That is wrong. Mercury's opposite Saturn. Golly, I can't believe I did that. It won't let me erase. I have to erase the whole thing. August 1st, full moon in Aquarius. Mercury opposite Saturn. Hello, Mandy. Sorry about that. All right, let's get it right. Talking about Mercury opposite Saturn, and there's my blockage. That makes so much sense. This is in your 10th house of career to your fourth house of home and family. So you can imagine your mind is on your career, your public reputation, pushing for achievement, success. Saturn's down here in your family and home area, demanding work. It can kind of feel, all right. But the reason I think this Mercury Saturn opposition is going to be so palpable is because the full moon's in Aquarius, which is ruled by Saturn. Okay, so full moon in Aquarius in your third house of local community communication, short trips, which you could be taking short trips. Siblings is another third house topic, and it's square Jupiter in your sixth house of work and daily life and routine. So this could be a little bit stressful, August 1st, not going to lie. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully we get some good things from Jupiter, but it's better to be aware than not. Now, August 6th is the Sun square Jupiter. Okay, this just brings up the same Venus square Jupiter stuff, except it's the Sun. The Sun is purpose. The Sun is how you shine. The Sun is your life force, right? So the Sun square Jupiter sometimes can lead to excess anything square Jupiter can lead to excess, but it can also lead to great insight. Okay, so this could be busy August 6th through 8th, especially in the sixth house. I would definitely watch your health. It could be something in which you really want to let go into the adventure or the philosophy of the ninth house, but you're maybe also very busy with sixth house topics. August 8th through 10th, Venus squares Uranus. All right, so we got these squares basically August 6th through 10th from Leo to Taurus. Taurus is fixed earth, Leo is fixed fire. You can imagine when those two are kind of in disagreement, how rocky it can be. So let's see, August 6th through 10th. We got Sun square Jupiter, which, by the way, good things can come out of a Sun square Jupiter. Jupiter's a benefic. But generally speaking, it can just expand whatever's going on. And then Venus square Uranus. I also wrote Venus square Uranus over here, so you can look at those dates as well. So Venus square Uranus is more unexpected events, freedom, breakthrough, having to change, shift, pivot. Okay, so August 6th through 10th is holding that in its grasp. Now, August 13th is the Venus star point. The Venus star point is when the sun and Venus come together. It's looked at as a good thing. It's an audience with the king. And I think we really, really get a hold of, okay, what's going on? I'm going to put the sun right here by Venus. Put the sun around the Venus retro. So star point, August 13th, I have that written down. And you can imagine the star point is a time in which we become very aware of what is going on with the Venus retrograde. The sun is also the ruler of Leo. So there is lots and lots of fiery, expanded energy in the ninth house. I don't know if you're traveling a lot. I don't know if you're going back to school. I don't know if you're learning or teaching, or if you're just having a moment in which you are questioning what you believe and are questioning what's true, especially about relationships and money, because that's what Venus represents, and your values, and how that conflicts with your daily routine and your values for your daily life. That's what's going to be on the docket. Now, August 15th through 17th is something completely different. Mars trine Jupiter. Am I right? Mars trine Uranus. This is really nice for change. Mars is action, Mars is ego, Mars is passion, and it's in your 10th house of career. It will be trining, supported by changes in your 6th house, which is daily life, work, routine. And I think that this could be possibly a good time where we look at the situation. We look at Venus retrograde, what it's drawing to our attention. We say we need to change something. And wouldn't you know, at August 16th, there's a new moon in Leo square Uranus. So not only do we have an easy trine from Mars to Uranus, we also have this new moon in Leo at 23 degrees. There's the moon and the sun and Venus square Uranus. This is like, okay, we're starting a new cycle here. Now that we've figured out these changes that are happening in our 6th house of health, daily life routine, and work, and the values that are changing there, Venus comes in to square it. New moon squares it. Mars in the 10th house is trining it. Like, maybe the changes are best implemented in the career area, or maybe you're just like, that's all you know to throw your energy into. But August 15th through 17th seems like a time of great change. All right. August 22nd is Venus square Jupiter. Let me go ahead and erase the sun here. The sun's now moving later into Leo. Okay, there's the sun, late Leo here. So we've got Venus square Jupiter, August 22nd. Again, watch your pocketbooks on Venus square Jupiter. Watch how much you're overdoing it on Venus square Jupiter. But definitely pay attention to the undercurrents and the philosophical meanings. That's what's important for you in these houses. ninth house, sixth house, written down right here. It's the difference between the two and how you can work with both of them at the same time. How do you adventure and also keep routine? You see how they don't really necessarily agree? All right, August 23rd, the sun moves into Virgo and Mercury retrograde starts. Okay. Yay. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to draw the sun in Libra now. Sun in Libra. Oh, God, not Libra. I keep making mistakes. Virgo, sun's in Virgo, leaves Leo, moves into Virgo. My bad. And then we've got Mercury turning retrograde. All of this is in your 10th house of Mercury retrograde gets a lot of question marks. Okay, that's Mercury retrograde. 10th house of career, public reputation. So what's interesting to me is that we have the Mars trine Uranus, that something changes with our career and with our daily life and routine. Then Mercury goes retrograde and we have to rethink how we're doing it, how we're approaching this area. 10th house, which is over here. Look, there's the question marks over here. Okay. So 10th house is going to be career, achievement, success, all of those things. Rethinking it, trying to get it right this time. So here's what's interesting. Mercury will trine Jupiter 3 times as it retrogrades. The first one was August 8th. Okay. And that's around the same time as the Venus square to Uranus, August 8th. So Mercury trines Jupiter. That is another good moment of insight. Okay. So we're really pushing in our 10th house, like, yeah, let's get it done. Mars is there, the sun's there. Then Mercury retrograde will come in and trine Jupiter. And then Mercury direct will trine Jupiter. Jupiter is philosophy, it's truth, it's abundance. So it's like this rethinking of how to work it out, how to do it. Okay. The other thing that's significant about the 23rd is that Venus retrograde being in Leo, right? Venus retrograde in Leo takes cues from the ruler of Leo. And the ruler of Leo is the sun. So with the sun in Leo up until August 23rd, it's that ninth house topic. It's meaning, it's truth, it's belief, it's higher education, it's travel, it's all of that. When the sun moves into Virgo, Venus retrograde is now kind of looking to the sun in Virgo for a little more information about what it's reevaluating. Okay. So you've got Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde at the same time, not in the same sign, but same time. So definitely need to pay attention to this date. Sun moves into Virgo, Mercury retrograde. August 25th, Mars trines Pluto. Okay. I haven't really talked about Pluto, but Pluto's in your second house of finances and material assets. And Mars trine Pluto is an empowering moment. It's a moment which we say, okay, we're going to do it this way because this is the way I want to do it, especially since Pluto has been in this area for a while. Okay, a long time. I want to say since 2008. I could be wrong, but Pluto's been in Capricorn for a long time. It's not going to be there for very much longer. So Mars trine Pluto is like, now we're getting to the end. And each little Mars trine to Pluto at the end here is probably going to be a big deal. So this is August 25th. Mars trine Pluto seems like an empowering moment or a moment where we call bullshit and decide that's not going to work anymore. But I view this as pretty good. Okay. Now, August 27th is Sun opposite Saturn and Mars in Libra. Okay, so then this changes the playing field again. Okay, first of all, Mars, little orange X here, moves into Libra. Libra is your 11th house of networking, goals for the future, large groups of people. Mars is going to draw attention to what the eclipses are going to mean for you. Okay, the eclipses are going to be you're separating from something in the 11th house, down here, South Node, 11th house. Do a little arrow. South node in Libra. Mars is going to be in the same area. Okay. So it's adding some frustration. Mars can be a troublemaker. Okay. But it's also bringing lots of energy and passion and desire to this area. You're going to figure out what it is, I think, around this Mars transit that the eclipse is pointing to. Okay. So also the sun opposite Saturn, August 27th. Can't say I'm looking forward to it. Again, career, home, and family. The weight and the obstacle seems to be in the home and family. Sun is pushing for success. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but that does look like a kind of a interesting, maybe a little heavy day. August 30th is the full moon, the full moon in Pisces. So if the full moon's in Pisces, right after the sun opposes Saturn, that means it's going to be pretty close to Saturn. Okay. So this full moon still may be a little heavy. It's going to hold the same energy with it. It's a culmination. It's a culmination in your fourth house of home and family from your ninth house of meaning. Why? Because the new moon was here in Leo. X marks the spot. That's where the new moon was. And it was square Uranus, right? So what we've got is you set an intention for Leo ninth house stuff, beliefs, higher education, meaning, truth. That culminates somehow with what you're doing at home with your family on this full moon and what work needs to be put in there. Okay. September, we're already here. And guess what? September 3rd, Venus is direct, y'all. How about that? We got Venus direct now. So we can erase, this is my favorite part, erasing the retrograde. It goes fast, right? It feels like it when I put it out like this. Now Venus is direct. All right. So then September 4th, Mercury retrograde trines Jupiter. Okay. Mercury's in your 10th house of career down here. That's where Mars and Mercury retrograde was. And then Jupiter is in your 6th house of health, daily life, work, routine. This looks like a work thing. Okay. Something's expanded, especially some pivot or some rethink. You really want to get it right and you're looking for meaning. All right. So that is September 3rd and 4th. Venus direct, Mercury trine Jupiter, Mercury retrograde trine Jupiter. I would say September 4th through 8th is good. September 4th through 8th. Why? Because you have Mercury RX trine Jupiter. Then you have the Mercury cazimi, which is the sun and Mercury coming together. See them here in the same sign? Mercury cazimi. That's also known as an audience with the king. But it's also Mercury. It's our minds instead of our hearts, instead of what we love. Venus is what we love, what we value, what we're drawn to. Mercury is how we think, how we communicate, how we take in information in the 10th house of career. So this Mercury cazimi is trine Jupiter as well. And then on the 8th, so that's the 6th, then on the 8th, the sun trines Jupiter. So the 4th through the 8th looks pretty fortunate for you for career. I'm just going to say that, or at least for changes you're making in career. It's going to trine Jupiter. That's all seems to be really fortunate. Okay. All right. Then we've got September 14th. I love September 14th. Love it. New moon in Virgo. And this is going to be trine. Trines are supportive. Uranus, change in your 6th house. All right. So let me stamp the moon up here. Actually, I'm going to erase the sun because the sun and Mercury have kind of switched places now that they went cazimi. Now the sun's going to be here at the 23rd degree. Oh man, I need to be yellow. Here at the 23rd degree. The moon's going to be there. And now Mercury retrograde is kind of back here. Okay. So we've got the new moon on September 14th. And it is trine Uranus in your sixth house. Again, more career moves, more changes. Something changes in your sixth house, it's going to change in the 10th. Same with the opposite. Okay. And then, you know what else on September 14th? Mercury goes direct. Yay! No more Mercury retrograde. That's exciting. So Mercury gets one question mark now. So this specific new moon, September 14th, seems to be ripe for some really nice changes. I don't know what kind of career stuff Sag Rising's been going through, but it's career and it's daily life and it's routine. And how is that all going to fit together and work together in order to bring your life meaning? And maybe even money, because the third Earth sign is Capricorn and Pluto's there. And you know, this new moon, yes, it's trine Uranus, but it's also pretty close to trine Pluto. And it's also pretty close to opposite Neptune. That would make a kite. But alas, it is not exactly trine Pluto. So it's not a full-on kite. However, there is definitely a lot going in from career to sixth house health, daily life routine. Okay. And then we've got September 15th through 18th, Venus square Jupiter. This is the third time. Venus is direct, but now both Jupiter and Uranus are retrograde. Okay. So we got Jupiter retrograde. It's rethinking the routine and the health stuff. Actually, Jupiter, it's re-philosophizing. It's maybe going internal with that. But Venus in the ninth house, Venus knows what it wants now. So this is more of a clarity situation, I think. But also be careful about spending money. And then September, that was 15th through 18th. I have that written down as well. And then September 19th, the sun does oppose Neptune. Not a big deal, pretty brief, but maybe a little lack of clarity. Okay. And of course, that would be right after the new moon. And we don't really get a lot of clarity until the full moon. Sun trines Pluto September 21st. So again, career, money, September 21st. And then September 23rd, the sun moves into Libra. And actually, Mars is closer to the end of it now. So the sun, we can now put the sun here in Libra. And we can put Mars later degrees. And we can talk about the 11th house now. Okay, so Venus is direct. It's just squared Jupiter. Sun moves into Libra. That is your 11th house of career, goals, networking, and the groups of people you surround yourself with. Venus retrograde has just been through a deep philosophical change, maybe, and really looking at what it wants. Okay. So as far as that goes, now it's looking to the 11th house and going, what do I need to get rid of here? Because the South Node is there. Mars is really kind of hanging out on the South Node. So it's just something to note that this day, September 23rd, it shifts more to that 11th house topic. Okay. The 11th house topic is, erase all this, written down here, South Node in Libra. Mercury direct this time is now trine Jupiter again, September 24th. That's pretty nice. Love it. Then September 29th is a full moon. No, September 28th and 29th. Which one is it? I have September 29th written down as Venus square Uranus and 28th. So we'll give it both days, but it's also a full moon. So Venus square Uranus, now it's direct. This looks like football, doesn't it? Now Venus is direct, Uranus is retrograde. This is the third one. These two houses, something's got to change, something pivots. You might get something out of the blue. And then we get the full moon here in Aries at 6 degrees. Okay, so this is 11th house, 5th house topics now. This is going to bring up the eclipse points. It's not an eclipse and it's not even near the nodes, but it is going to bring up the themes because the nodes are in the same places. So the North Node in your 5th house, which is inner child joy, children, romance, love. It's the house of good fortune. And then the sun is in your 11th house, which is large groups of people, networking, and goals. So this full moon is hopefully a good one for you because it's unaspected. Now, Venus is still square Uranus, so you may still be pivoting about something. And then October 1st through 3rd is Mars kind of sextile. Mars and the South Node are together, and they're sextile Venus. Sextile is opportunity. 11th house of networking to 9th house of philosophy, higher education, adventure, and travel. Those are opportunity. It's like Venus is figuring out what it doesn't want to do in this goals area and who it doesn't want to be around. And then trine the North Node, okay? And that is supportive to the 5th house. This is a great trine. And then October 7th, you guessed it, Venus is out of its shadow. Venus goes into Virgo October 9th, and we are done with Venus and Leo. Now, it's something to note that as soon as Venus moves into Virgo October 9th, it's pretty much going to oppose Saturn, okay? But I will come back with another video for that because there is no way for me to fit it all into one. This one's long enough. Am I right? I hope that you guys got something out of that and it helps you plan your late summer. I will be doing another video and I will come out with it long before we get to October so that you guys can plan the rest of the year. It'll go October through December. And that's when the eclipses are, October 14th and 28th. So it'll go over the eclipses more and then what's coming up in December, which will be much different. Okay, Sagittarius risings, thank you so much for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave comments if you have questions. Visit ecstaticastrology.com if you'd like to book with me. Do all my sessions over Zoom, and I'd love to look at your chart. All right, have a good day.